my name is Maya and welcome to the episode 26, yes, of the millahism.designs knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. So today is the 5th of July 2024 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. You can find me on Instagram as millahism.designs and you can find links of everything I talk about down in the description box below, as well as my measurements if you are interested. So today in the latest 2 weeks since the last episode I haven't had time to knit much. However, I have a lot to show for some reason. I have 3 finished objects, I have 2 works in progress, and both of them... Can you hear that? I was saying, both of them are new cast-ons, so you haven't seen them before, and I have an update on my gigantic colorwork blanket and some small acquisitions. And I'm gonna announce the giveaway winner from the latest episode when we celebrated 1 year of the podcast. So that's a lot, so let's get right into it. So my 2 first finished objects are the things I'm wearing. So the first one is this, and the second one you cannot see because it's behind my back. It's this guy. So first, this is the Leela top. It's a pattern I test knit for Caidree, and I knit the sample I knit for the test knit is here. This one is size 2 with the about recommended gauge, and this is knit with Pernel by Nutiden in the colorway Vert Forêt, and it's absolutely amazing and I liked it so much. I mean, I am living in this thing, I'm always wearing it. I wanted the second one and I wanted to knit it with the original yarn I had planned, which is this one, but I couldn't get gauge with it. I couldn't hit gauge with the fabric I liked, so what I did is I cast on a bigger size. Instead of size 2, I cast on size 4. So my gauge is a little bit smaller on this one, but other than that, it's really the same garment. So you can maybe tell there is a little texture going on, and I like it. It's as great as the first one, except the yarn is Estiva by Lani Vendole, which is an Italian brand, and the yarn is absolutely gorgeous. The colorway is Poseidone. It's one of my favorite colors ever. But it's a blend of wool and linen, and the wool is a little bit itchy. I'm super sensitive, so it's probably not itchy to most of the knitters around there, but for me it is. So I knew it going into it because this is leftover yarn and I just wanted to use it. And yeah, it's I can definitely feel the straps, but I knew it would happen and I'm just going to deal with it. It doesn't matter, it's alright. It's not unbearable, but I can't wear this 2 days in a row because on the second day it's going to be too much. Anyway, so I didn't finish all my leftovers, so I wanted to cast on something else, which is why I cast on this guy, but I still haven't finished my yarn. So I originally bought 4 50-gram skeins and I managed to make a whole t-shirt, this guy, and I still have it left. This is never going to end. It's almost a lace weight yarn. I think it's 300 meters per 50 grams, so yeah, it's a lace weight basically. But yeah, it's knit on 3.5mm needles and it's definitely not see-through at all. So super lovely yarn, I really like it, but it's a little bit itchy. Anyway, so for this guy, I modified the pattern. I did the same thing I did for the first sample I did for the test knit, which is I added 1 more pattern repeat for the back, so you can maybe tell that the back is sitting a little bit higher than the front is, and that's just because I don't like having a big piece of back showing up here. And it's just the way garment fall naturally on body, so I just did that. Super easy modification, and I shortened the straps accordingly. I also shortened the body a little bit. I don't know by how much, but I just stopped when it hit the top of my super super high-waisted bottoms. My belly button is here, so yeah, it's short. And I modified the bottom hem. In the pattern it's supposed to be a 1x1 ribbing, and I did exactly the opposite as the cast-on. So this is like a long tail cast-on, 1 or 2 rows of stockinette, I don't know, and then garter. And at the bottom I did garter, 2 rows of stockinette, and I did a half hitch sewn bind off, which is, to say it very simply, a half Kitchener stitch. It basically mimics the long tail cast-on, so it's a sewn bind off. You need to use a darning needle, and it looks exactly the same as a long tail cast-on. And I just think it looks better than ribbing in this case, so yeah, I did it. And this time I didn't forget to use a smaller needle for the last garter section and the last 2 rows of stockinette, because in my first sample it's slightly flaring out because of the difference in gauge in the garter, and here in the body of the garment it's kind of tamed down by the following section of stockinette, so the gauge doesn't really matter. But when you're at the bottom, it does make a little difference, so I went down a needle size, 2 needle sizes, and now it's perfect. Oh yeah, I did hit a snafu with this one, because you probably won't be able to see it. Actually it's on the back, so you really won't see it. I did mess up, because you're supposed to have you have the garter stripe and then you stop, you do stockinette and then you have the edge. And I just messed up on the wrong side, and I continued to purl all the way to the edge, so I had a little bit of purl bumps showing on the right side, and it was really noticeable. So I wasn't sure if I should ladder down, because when I noticed, the mistake was like here and I was down there. And I had done the increases, so I was supposed to ladder down the increases, which means I would have to take out a whole chunk of fabric like this to ladder down until up here, and I wasn't ready to do that. Especially because there was an I-cord near it, so there is the float of the I-cord going on, so yeah, it was just a mess. So I asked on Instagram what the majority would think, and most people, I think it was like half in the end. So what I did is I only unraveled the section that was not in increases. Basically it means on the 5 stitches I had made incorrectly, I only corrected 3 and 2 are left. But the 2 that are left are right on the I-cord. I put up a picture and it's really hidden. You cannot really tell. It's a lot less obvious than when there was a glaring line. So I'm happy I did a mid-half repair because it was the best course of action, I think. It was still a mess, especially because I decided to do it in the bus, so I was moving like this while trying to salvage my stitches, but yeah, I did it. It was fine in the end. Yeah, and I did another modification, is that I removed 4 stitches on each side. I have no idea why. I was just knitting on it and I was looking at it like this and I was like, it's too big. And I just removed some stitches, and I'm glad I did because it's perfect like this. So yeah, it's a little bit smaller at the underarm than the size 4, size 2 at a different gauge would be. Yeah. And I have some remarks for the pattern. First, the funny thing is that I'm super hot, I'm sorry, I don't know why. It's super humid today. It's not hot, but it's like the humidity level is... Anyway, quite a few people messaged me saying that they cast on this design after I shared it on YouTube and Instagram, which makes me so happy. Like, I really like it. It's absolutely amazing. But yeah, I was super happy about it. However, this pattern is not size inclusive. I don't remember to which size it goes up to, but definitely not enough. And I did mention that to the designer, to Caidree, I said it in the, what do you call that? The tester survey you have to hand out at the end of the test. I think she asked what you didn't like about the pattern, and I said it's not size inclusive. Yeah, and in the next pattern she did a test call for. Usually she makes test calls by email, so you have to sign up for the mailing list and then you receive an email every time she has something to test. But for the next pattern, which is the Perla top, I think it's a halter style top, she did a test call on her Instagram publicly. And I think that's because the size range is bigger and she knows nobody that's beyond her usual size range is subscribed to her mailing list, so there's no point in asking for testers if no one is there to listen. So she did the public test call on Instagram, and she did struggle a bit to find testers for the bigger sizes, which is perfectly normal, of course. Nobody that's beyond, I don't know, 130 centimeters bust is going to follow her anyway. So yeah, I'm super happy she decided to extend a little bit her size range. It's still not enough, but she did it, and I'd like to think that I have something to do with it. I have no idea, and nobody will ever be able to tell. I'm not going to ask her, of course. But yeah, just wanted to mention that she is doing a little bit of effort to extend her size range, so if you've been waiting to support her in that direction, it's starting to move. So yeah, just wanted to mention that because I think it's awesome. And yeah, I hope she doesn't think that the difficulty she had to find testers for the bigger sizes means that she shouldn't do this effort again. But I hope she won't, but I don't know, we will see. Just wanted to mention that. And that's it for this guy. So the second finished object I'm wearing, which you still cannot see, it's hiding behind my head. It's an Augustins number 22 bow. It's like my default project I do with leftover. I have so many of them, I don't even know how many, probably 10. And I'm just going to grab another one. This is the first one I ever did. It was maybe 3 years ago. It's using a merino and mohair held together, and it's so lovely. I just fell in love with it. It's so cute. Ooh. And yeah, I've done a lot along the years, and for this one I changed the edges because it's supposed to be seamed. I mean, not seamed, but you're supposed to do 3 needle bind-offs at the cast-on edge and bind-off edge. And I like the look of it. It looks cute, I don't have anything against it, but I just wanted to change it up because I've done so many like this, just wanted to try something else. So I did Judy's Magic Cast-On for the cast-on and I kitchenered the bind-off, which means it is totally seamless. And it looks nice too, but it was probably fussier to do than this. But I'm not a fan of the 3 needle bind-off, and especially not of picking up the stitches on the cast-on edge to do the 3 needle bind-off. Usually I just use a crochet hook, but yeah, I don't know which one I prefer. It's just different. But the thing is, when I did the Judy's Magic Cast-On, I just took a long tail of yarn and then I started casting on, and I didn't even count my stitches. I was like, I don't care, it's gonna be the size it's gonna be. And it's a shame, I should have taken a longer tail to do the cast on, because that's why it's kind of small, I mean, compared to this one. Yeah, it's definitely smaller, and I have so many yarn left over. I wish I had done it bigger, because I probably could have used everything, but yeah, it is how it is. Maybe I will do another one and gift it to someone, probably not, so I hate leftovers. But yeah, it's there. Oh, I used 7 grams and I used 3.5 millimeters needles, the same as this. And that's it. Before I show you my other finished object, I'm just going to announce the giveaway winner. So last episode was my 1-year podiversary, which is super cool, I'm super happy about it. And I did ask to I gave a prompt to participate in the giveaway, which was basically I was picking a winner within the comment sections, and I gave a prompt. I'm just going to go back to this later, but yeah. I had a lot of comments, super lovely comments. It was super fun to read everyone's what everyone had to say on the podcast and on the prompt I gave. So I did select a random, I used the random command generator, select whatever thing to select winner. And I did this on the day I said I would, which was, no, the next day, it was the 1st of July, and I said the giveaway was closing on the 13th June. So here is the winner, and I'm super happy that you won, because it's actually someone that applied to Testnet, the thing I'm going to show later, and she was so bummed she wasn't selected, but now I'm happy because you can actually get something from me, and I hope it will lift you up after you were kind of sad of not getting selected for the Testnet, because yeah, I was sad too. I couldn't choose you, but anyway, I'm gonna go back to this later. So what you want is, as I mentioned, you can choose one of those two pairs of socks. Because as I explained very quickly in the latest episode, one part of my personality is that I always have weird socks on. Today I have this little guy on. So yeah, I just wanted to share some of my particularity with you all, so you can choose one of these two socks. It's a Marvel series and they are so cute. And you can also get this absolutely wonderful skein of camel silk blend. It's 50-50 camel silk. It's from Expression Fiber Arts and it's the colorway Autumn Lake, and it's beautiful, but this is leftover from a project I did for someone else. So she requested the colorways she wanted, and this is exactly what I don't like. It is beautiful, but it has been staying in my stash for 3 years because I don't like this color on me, I mean. So I figured instead of letting this sit in my stash and make me sad because I don't know what to do with it, I could just pass it over to someone who will like it. And this is such a luxury yarn, guys. This was super expensive, so I just hope it will come, you will come to love it when you get it. And I have another leftover from the same project because I bought these two yarns to be worked together, but I also have this leftovers. This is the same blend, but it's another brand. It's Penny Lane Yarns. This is the undyed color of the camel silk blend. The makeup is slightly different, but they still work up together perfectly. So if you also want this to go with it, you can get it. But if you don't want a partially wound skin 70-gram leftover, I'm not going to force you to take it. So you can just choose either only this or the two of them together, plus one of the two socks. And yeah, congratulations, and I hope you will enjoy your gift, and you can just contact me at the email address that's in the description below to give me your shipping information, and I will send this out to you. Now, I mentioned that I gave a prompt for the giveaway. So the prompt was, I never mentioned on the podcast what is my job, my day job, like what I do for a living. And I figured it would be funny to ask you what you think. So the prompt was to guess what my day job is. And I had a lot of people trying out to guess, and it was so funny. I think the most people said accountant, which is for sure super boring. And I also, the one clue I gave is that I did university studies, so I have a master's degree, and I definitely think you need a master's degree to be an accountant. Maybe not for all cases, but yeah, it made sense. And after accountant, the second most popular guess was engineer, which is like so broad. I mean, you can be an engineer in any field, so you guys didn't really take any risks by guessing this one. A lot of people said engineer, but in the, how do you call that? Like, wow, this is so hard to say. Environmental, that's how you say it in French, field, and no, I'm not an engineer. Very close, but I'm not an engineer. And I had only 2 people guess correctly, and it's super funny because one of them was like the shortest comment ever. She just said, I think you're this. And the second comment was like the opposite. It was so detailed, and this person basically described my whole life in a sentence. She was so spot on correct. I can't believe how she saw right into me so easily. So yeah. If I ever need to present myself, I'm just going to read you this comment because it was just so spot on. So I will try to find it again and read you the comment so that you can first get the answer, what I do for a living, and do a little introduction of myself, because this comment is going to do it for me perfectly fine. So, Serena Serenade, I think I said that with a heavy French accent, I'm sorry, 9617, said, for the guess about your day job, you have excellent 3D reasoning skills, you don't seem afraid of math, and you clearly have a strong sense of creativity and aesthetics. Thank you. So I guess you might have fallen into the "you like art and math, become an architect" trap. So architect is my first guess. Yes. I totally fell into the trap of I love art and math, I'm gonna be an architect. I hate being an architect. It's like, it sucks. Really. Yeah, you're not doing math, you're not doing art either, it's just I'm basically spending my time arguing with people in a construction site that don't want to execute the orders I'm giving them, and that will do everything possible to just do it in the wrong way. And basically I'm spending my time at a kindergarten trying to make people just not ruin all my work, basically. I'm having trouble explaining this in English, but yeah, it sucks. I did say in my precedent episode that I hate my job, which is mainly why I don't speak about it on the channel. So yeah, now you know, I'm an architect. So the two people that guessed it will receive the free pattern of the skirts that I'll be showing right after this. So congratulations to both of you, and it was super funny to see what you all thought. There were a lot of other guesses about being a lawyer, which would totally would have been possible. I have a lot of friends that are a lawyer, but actually all of them enjoy what they're doing, so I guess it's actually a pretty nice job. Because most people I graduated with and that are also architects hate their job as well. It just sucks. Anyway, so yeah, thank you to all of you for participating and for playing the game with me. It was super funny for me to read the answers, and yeah, I'm just happy it worked. I was kind of afraid nobody was going to try and guess, but yeah, you did play the game, so thank you. Anyway, let's get back to the knitting. So, my next finished object that I mentioned 3 times already is my first ever design, and it's this skirt, which doesn't look like much when it's not worn, but yeah, it's called the Skeeter Skirts, and I did a test call last week. I got a lot of answers, super, like really a lot of applicants to the test, so I'm just so happy about the support I got. And yeah, basically it's this, and it has pockets. Hi. You can see them here. It's lined on the inside. Yeah, so I did give a lot of details about it in the latest episode, so if you really want to get all the small details about the design, you can just go and watch this. But yeah, now the test knit is going. I have a super lovely team that's working on it. Most people are on the waistband for now. It's double knit, so it's taking ages, but yeah, I promise once you get past the waistband, it's going super fast until you get like to here, and then it's a slug again, but it's just how it is. If you love stockinette, this is going to be for you. Yeah, so this is my finished object. I think in the latest episode I was like maybe 5 centimeters away from the end, and I hadn't knit sewn the pocket linings yet, and now it's done. So as I mentioned, this is my second sample. So the first one is the original one that I knit 2 years ago, and it's very similar, but it has a lot less flare. This one is a complete circle, and this one is a little bit less. Maybe you can tell. And it doesn't have pocket. So this one is knit in Antigone by Noro Yarns. It's a 100% linen blend, and the colorway is Héron, and it has a lovely drape. And this one is knit also in Noro Yarns, but this one is Candide, and it's a blend of cotton and wool. It's a woolen spun, so it's super lightweight and lovely. It also has a very nice drape because I knit it at a very loose gauge on 4.5mm needles. And yeah, as I mentioned, this one is a summer cycle, so a lot more fabric. But I used a little less yarn for this one than for the other one, even though this one has a lot more fabric. So yeah, the difference the yarn choice can make. So yeah, I'm just super happy about it. And also one thing I wanted to say, it's first a huge thank you for all the support I received on Instagram where I did the test call. I think I doubled the number of followers I had there, almost, which is insane. I mean, I didn't have much to begin with, but yeah, now I have almost double, so it's completely wild to me. I cannot believe it. But yeah, I did mention in the test call that I didn't have a lot of people following me, so I just wanted to reach more people I could, the most people I could, so I just asked if people could share it, share the test call, and so many people did, I can't believe it. It was just, I almost cried. I got so emotional seeing all the support. And Celine from Celine Knits, the designer, she suggested I submit the test call to Fattest Knits Instagram accounts because this is fully size inclusive, from baby, like newborn, to a lot of excess size. And so I did submit it, and they did share it on their account, which also allowed to get a lot of testers in the bigger sizes. And I also, someone reached out to suggest I contact Size Inclusive Collective. And it's funny because that person tagged the account into the comment, and Autumn, who is behind the Size Inclusive Collective account, she shared it on the account within 3 minutes, so I didn't had the time to contact her. It was so sweet. So yeah, really a lot of people helped me out on this one, and I had 117 applicants for this test. Like, what? Yeah, so it was a lot more than I expected, and it was also I think the toughest part of the whole pattern writing and test code and everything was choosing the testers. It was like so much harder than I expected. So much work. I just wanted to be really really conscious about it and really choose the best people I could, and yeah, but it was so heartbreaking to have to turn down so many applicants, so yeah, it was really difficult. But yeah, I ended up with a really great testing group now, so I'm super happy about it, but it was tough. And I had a little bit of a snafu again, because I think I graded it up to 170 centimeters. I think it's, oh, I don't even remember how much that's in inches, but it's there. And I had no idea. I mean, it's my first design. I have no reference point to know if it's even useful to grade to this big, but I just wanted to go to how much I could go just to see if people would apply for these sizes. And I saw in the Fattest Knits guidelines that they recommend grading up to 124 centimeters for the waist, which is like so much smaller than what I did. But I still got testers for sizes bigger than what they recommend, so I'm happy I went a little bit further. And I even got one applicant for the biggest size and one applicant for 2 sizes smaller than that. But when the test knit started, I realized that the biggest size, I mean, I looked at her picture on Instagram and it was obvious she wasn't in that big of a size range, but I couldn't know if she was maybe knitting for someone else, so I couldn't know, and I wanted to ask her, but she reached out to me saying, hey, I totally messed up when I filled out the form, because she thought I was asking for the size, and she put 170 centimeters because that's her height. And yeah, so she messed up, so I don't have anyone for the biggest size, which is not a big deal, because, I mean, it's really a lot of knitting when you are in such a big size. And the person that was the biggest size applicant before that, she ended up declining when I contacted her to offer her the spot in the test group, because she realized she wouldn't have the time, which is totally fine. I mean, definitely this is a commitment for the biggest sizes. And I gave a super long testing period, which is 3 months until the end of September, but I totally get it. This is a lot of knitting, even for me at my size. And yeah, so I still have a super big size range within the testing group. I think it goes from 40 centimeters to 140. Like, it's huge. I'm super happy about the people, all the variety of people that applied, so for me that's a clear win. And yeah, I'm just happy. Oh yeah, I wanted to mention something amazing happened. My local yarn shop, Les Nutiden, I know the owner, and the other day I was at her shop browsing for yarn, and she talked to me about this design. This was before the test call, and then someone contacted me on Instagram and said in the comments, you should maybe ask your local yarn store if she agrees to do discount code for the testers for the skirt. And I was like, yes, of course. That's a great idea. Didn't even think about it, so I just wrote to Pascal, the owner of the store, and she agreed to give testers to Switzerland-based people, because in Switzerland the conversion rate for the Swiss francs is massive. Like, there is no chance anyone that's not in Switzerland would want to buy anything from here, because you would lose so much money just in the conversion rate, so just don't. So it was great for testers in Switzerland, but I don't have a lot. I think I have like one or maybe two, but really one. And so it's great for this person. She actually lives not too far from the shop, so she could just go there and take advantage of the discount code. But I wanted to do something for the other testers that were international, and especially for the bigger sizes, because this is a lot of knitting, but it's also a lot of yarn, and I really wanted to do something to support the larger sizes. So without shame, I sent an email to the Room Natura themselves, like the big brand, and I said, hey, I'm a rookie designer, it's my first design, would you like to support the test knit by giving away maybe a coupon code for the yarn, for the bigger sizes, or for everyone, I don't know. And they accepted! Wow! So the test has yarn support from the Room Natura themselves. Like, it's one of my favorite brands of yarn ever, and they just said yes. I almost cried. I'm getting emotional again. So yeah, they gave a 15% discount code on the Candide base, which is this one, the cotton and yarn blend, and I'm just so happy. So yeah, I mean, you already know it because I said it on the test group, but if you are in the test group for this design and you want to try out Candide, it's 15% off for you. So yeah, I'm just super happy about it. And I also have two people in the test group that are affiliate members for, I think Inga from Knitting Traditions is affiliate for a project bag maker, and I have someone else that's affiliate with the notions and knitting stuff like needles and everything shop in Finland, and they both gave discounts for the testers. I mean, the shop in Finland did give discount code only for the testers, but Inga has the discount code for everyone, but she just shared it in the group. So I'm super happy because now a lot of the testers can get stuff for a discounted price, which is so nice. So yeah, I'm super happy about that, and I'm incredibly proud that the Room Natura agreed to give the coupon code. So yeah, it's just, I feel kind of validated somehow. So yeah, I was just so pleased. Anyway, that's it for the design. Actually no, because one of my new cast-ons is totally related to this, because I needed to film video tutorials for the pattern, and to film those I needed to have an actual skirt to knit on, and I didn't want to cast on another one for me. I mean, yes, I did, but the one I'm going to cast on is in lace weight, so I didn't want to film tutorials with lace weight yarn. So I used my leftovers from the first sample to cast on another one. But this one is going to be a baby size. I think it's the second size in the pattern. It's like 45 centimeters waist, because there is a baby that just came to life maybe 2 weeks ago, and it's a little baby girl, and I'm pretty sure the parents would be super happy to have a little baby skirt to go on their little baby girl. So I'm just going to use what I have left. It's going to be super short, probably this long, but it doesn't matter. I mean, she's not going to walk until a while, and nobody's gonna care if you can see her diapers or what under the skirt. So yeah, I'm just going to knit until I'm done with the yarn. And then I have no leftovers left. Yes! So yeah, this is just going to sleep in my project bag until I need an emergency stockinette project, and because I don't need to finish it anytime soon. So yeah, I have filmed the tutorials and it's good to go, and it's basically the same as this one, except it doesn't have the pockets, because why a newborn with the pockets in her skirt? And yeah, really the same. And I mentioned my next cast on would be with a silk, no not silk, lace weight, and it's 100% silk, and I did need a swatch. So this is the yarn. This is one ball that's 800 meters. It's so thin. Look. I have 3 of them. It's going to take ages to knit, and I did need a swatch. Look at that. This is so beautiful. It's flowing like water. I can't believe it. It's going to be so beautiful. But yeah, I will be knitting a skirt in lace weight. I love knitting. The half of the swatch is on 3mm needles and the other half is on 2.75. This part is 3mm. This part is 2.75. And I definitely prefer the texture and the knitting experience on 3mm because it's going faster, but this is see-through. Yeah. And these two, but a little bit less. So I'm going to have to bite the bullet and knit on 2.75mm needles. I can do it, it's gonna be fine. It's stockinette in the round, I like it, and I mean, can you imagine a skirt flowing like this? I'm not sure I can do the pocket though, because the fabric is going to be so thin. The pocket's lining are definitely going to show up below it, so I'm not sure yet. We shall see, but it's not for right now. I think I'll cast on in 3 weeks, probably. I don't know. I will see. And I also wanted to show, the pattern includes a few different options for the bottom hem. So for my 2 samples I did a row stockinette edge, so there is literally nothing here. It's just knit, bind off. That's all. And I did a normal bind off on bigger needles, and as you can tell, it's not curling up. This is a wool blend, but it's such a loose gauge that it's just laying flat. And this one too. But this is linen, and plant-based yarn don't have memory, so they don't tend to curl up as much anyway, but yeah, it's also laying flat. But if you're scared of that, or if you just don't want to have the row stockinette edge, or if you're using the tighter gauge and wool yarn, I did include a few different options for the hem, so I have, I think, 5. The first one is the row stockinette edge. I will also include non-roll technique for the bind off. So if you happen to have rolling in your hem and you want to avoid it, there is a technique where you basically pick up a purl bump and knit the live stitch with the purl bump together, so it does a microscopic folded hem basically, and it looks like this. So it's a little bit bulkier than just the straight edge, but it's still laying completely flat. And I also included an I-cord bind off, so it's this one. It's a 3 stitches I-cord bind off. It's also laying flat, if you prefer the look of that. And I also included a garter edge bind off, which is this one. Also laying flat, of course. But for this one you need to do decreases. You can see I did 2 here, because the garter gauge is different than the stockinette gauge, so you need to adjust the stitch count before switching to this, but everything is in the pattern. And the last one is the ruffle. Oh, it's so cute! I think this will be the best for the little skirts for the baby, because having a little, can you imagine? A little baby skirt with a little ruffle. Oh, it's so cute! So yeah, there is instructions for this too in the pattern. And yeah, those are the possibilities, and I hope people in the test group will try all of them out, but I think really the easiest is just the rose stockinette. People are usually afraid of rose stockinette because we are so used to seeing it curl up that we don't really question if it's possible or not, but it is. You can totally have a rose stockinette edge and it looks fine. So yeah, that's it for my first work in progress, and the second one is... It's a self-drafted design, but I'm not really planning to publish it because it's super basic and there are probably a lot of patterns out there that are the same. But it's coming from a store-bought garment that I own. I actually have here. It's a super simple camisole and with a triangular cups type, but it's, as you can tell, is very wide, and it's actually like, if I hold it upside down, it's actually wider at the bottom than at the top. I mean, it's reversed, but you see what I mean. It gets wider and wider, and it just, when I tuck it down into my skirt, it gives a super cute, like, balloony effect with the elastic of the skirt that's cinching it inside, and I just really like the look of this. And I've been wanting to replicate this in knit for a while, but as you can tell, you need a really drapey and thin fabric for that. So I need a thin yarn. And the first attempt I did, I just wanted to use up leftovers, and it was DK leftovers, so it was not going to give the same effect as this one, of course. But I just had the leftovers laying around, and as I mentioned, I hate leftovers. So I wanted to use them up, but I didn't have enough, so I had to use other leftovers and unravel the swatch because it was the only yarn that could suit this weird colored yarn. So the purple yarn is Noro by Kakigori. No, that's the opposite. It's Kakigori by Noro Yarns in the colorway Inazawa, and this is leftover from a sweater. I had like 70 grams left, and I thought I could knit the cami, like flaring out, which I did, and then I ran out of yarn when I was like there. So I unraveled everything, I knit the top a little bit smaller, and I didn't do the increases, and then I managed to go like there, and it was barely reaching below my bust, so still too short, so I had to unravel again. I did it even smaller at the top, now the top is fitted on me, and I did decreases on the back. Here you can see the decrease line, so that it would be actually fitted. So absolutely not the look I was going for at the beginning, but it's working, it's super lovely, and I think I did add an elastic into the waistband because I really didn't want it to flare out, since it's, I think it's like 0 ease all the way on my body, and if there was a slight flaring out at the hem, it would look super weird. So I added a little bit of an elastic, and it's kind of at the correct size, it's just preventing it from flaring out, basically. And yeah, it's a super lovely top, but it's not what I wanted. So I just wanted to try again, start over with a thinner yarn to get more drape and enough yarn to do the whole like flaring out shape. So I did, and I cast on Thursday night, no, Wednesday night, and I did this much progress. This looks like a mess. Yeah, this is the front with the 2 triangle very small cups, and the back is, well, on the back, so it's looking like this. And I'm super happy about how it's turning out, especially considering that I didn't gauge swatch and it's the first time I'm using this yarn, so I have no idea how it behaves. I don't know. The way I constructed this, basically I did 1 triangle for the cup, I started cast on here, and then I did 1 increase rate until like here, and then I did quicker increase rate for the end, and I just was trying the cup on me to see. Once it reached like the middle part of my bust here, and it reached kind of below the arm, I was like, oh, it's big enough, and then I cut the yarn and started another triangle, and then I joined the 2 front triangles together because I want the my breast is sitting very high on my chest, and I have usually issues with the size of my armholes, so I need the armhole to sit lower than I want the point of a v-neck. Like I would want a v-neck here and the armhole here, so that's a little bit lower. So I joined the two front pieces together, and I knit a few rows to connect them at the front. So I had one front panel, and then I did exactly the same for the back, and then I joined everything in the round, which means that the armhole is a bit lower than the v-neck, and also that there is no front and back. I don't mind. And yeah, so I'm just knitting away on this, and I haven't tried it on yet. I mean, I have, just when I joined the round, but it was a little bit messy because the triangles were just like flopping like this, so I couldn't really tell if it was fitting or not. And now I just need to actually connect the I-cords from the front and the back. But let me explain why I'm not doing it. I used the trick that I used first for the Leela tops I knit, which is basically when you cast on, use a long tail cast on here, and I used the super big long tail, like my wingspan. I did the long tail cast on, and then I still had a lot of yarn left, like this. And I wound that into a small nugget that was just resting here, and I did the same for the back, so I had another nugget resting here at the shoulder. I knit everything, and then I just had to use the long tail to pick up the stitches and then knit the I-cord and graft it to the other part. Which means I had 4 less ends to weave in, because I didn't have the cast on end to weave in, and I didn't have the attached yarn for the I-cord to weave in, so that's 2 less, and then 2 less again at the other shoulder, so it saved me 4 ends. And 2 cuts in the yarn. I hate cutting my yarns. So I did the same here, but what I forgot is that this design is super high on the front and on the back, so the straps are super short, and this is absolutely not the same. Like the top of the triangle is sitting like here, and on the back it's like down here, so I need a super long I-cord strap, and I didn't let enough yarn. So this is all I could do with the nugget I had. I have still the nugget hanging here from the other side. And this is all I could knit, and it's not enough. So I still need to attach an extra piece of yarn. And I'm so annoyed at myself. But it's fine. This is actually a 2-ply, and I can do a Russian join, so it's gonna be fine, but I just need to do it. Yeah, so this is going along nicely. I did do the increases at the underarms. I used lifted increases, so you cannot really see them. They're kind of hidden, and it looks messy because this is a 100% linen yarn. The yarn I'm using is... it's Lino by BC Yarn, and I have 2 balls, so 100 grams, and each ball is 150 meters, so it's like a... Since this is linen, it's heavy, so I think it's a fingering weight. It's 300 grams per 300 meters per 100 grams, but it's linen, so I think it's fingering. And I'm knitting it on 3.25. If I had chosen a darker color, I would have knit on 3.5, because the gauge is not very floaty or loose or anything, but since this is a very light color, it's going to be kind of see-through if the gauge is too big, so I had to pick the smaller needles. But I think it will block out fine. I have no idea, I haven't knit a swatch. So yeah, I'm just working on this, and I can't wait to see how it becomes. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to rip this out 3 times again, just like the first one I tried, because why would it fit? I mean, this is how I checked if it fit or not. I am chaos. Yeah, so we shall see. And the color is actually it's funny, because when I bought it, I was absolutely certain it was a grey, very similar to this grey, like definitely not a light grey, really medium grey, leaning slightly purple. that's what I had in mind when I picked the color. It was at the Swiss Yarn Festival in April. And when I started knitting with it, it's totally 100% lavender, pastel lavender color. Like there is no doubt about it. It's like pastel lavender. And I don't really suit pastels very much. I love them, I think they look absolutely amazing, but it just really doesn't suit me at all. But for some reason in the skein form it looks like grey with a tint of purple, but when knitted up it looks pastel. I don't know, but it's alright. When I'm tanned, pastel colors look better on me, so I hope I will get tanned. Probably not gonna happen seeing the miserable weather we've been having until now, but you never know. So yeah, that's my second and last work in progress. Yes. And the last one I wanted to talk to you about is the big one. It's the Arctic morning blanket that I'm knitting since the beginning of the year, so more than 6 months. It's a huge colorwork blanket and I am on the home stretch, but as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, even if it maybe doesn't seem like that, I haven't had a lot of knitting time lately because I was working so hard on the skirt pattern since the last month. I just didn't have the time to do anything else. I couldn't knit as much as I usually do. I couldn't go climb even, and actually I can feel my level in climbing has gone down so much, like it's really depressing, but it's fine, it's gonna go up again anytime soon. Doesn't matter, but yeah, I really didn't have a lot of knitting time because what I finished, this was almost done in the last episode. I think I was like here, and this one was super fast, and the skirt was almost done. I had only 5 centimeters left, and on the new sample of the skirt I have done basically nothing. And this top is this is the one I did the most work on, but still this was also not a lot. But the one project that suffered the most from the lack of knitting time I had is the colorwork blanket. I actually worked a lot on it the past 2 days because the test call is done and I have less work to do on the pattern, so I had a little bit more time and I tried my best to catch up on this. Wow, it's looking so good on camera. So I did this guy yesterday and I need to change the battery. Apparently I forgot to charge the extra battery for the camera, so a little laundry folding later. I'm back. So I was saying, I'm knitting it using Nutiden Held Double, which is an unspun yarn in various colors. I'm almost at the end. I was supposed to have only 3 hexes left to do on the 29 total at the end of this week, but I have 4 and I had 5 yesterday. So yeah, I'm glad I managed to finish this one, and I can actually show you. I'm looking in this direction because I have made a sort of a design wall using batting for quilt and have just pinned all the hexes on it, and I can actually show you. Ta-da! Yeah, as the last time, this is my TV that I'm obviously not using at all, and this is part of the blanket. So the half point is here and I folded it just above it, so there is like this much left on the other side that you cannot see, and I just placed the hexes following the pattern, and I haven't placed the last one yet, so this one is supposed to go here. I'm just going to... yeah, stay. So this is what it looks like. I have this one, and this one are the same, and I'm just missing one last here. And after this one I have 3. I have the center one and the 2 that are next to the center left to do. Those 2 guys belong to... you cannot see them, but there, I have 2 here, and those are supposed to be on the back, but I cannot put them because I cannot go behind the TV. So yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 left to go, and I cannot wait to be done because I'm so tired of making these little guys. They are all different. I mean, no, they're either 2 or 4 times the same, but it's still a lot. And yeah, I'm getting tired. But I'm gonna make it. Only 3 left to go. Hi! I ended up taking lunch break, so I'm back. And I don't really remember what I was saying, but I think I was talking about the colorwork blanket, and I wanted to transition into acquisitions because the only acquisition I have is kind of related to the blanket, and that is because Honor Air, the maker of the Nutiden yarn I'm using for the blanket, did shop update a few weeks ago, and I am a patron of them, so I can access a special thing they make, which is like a mystery sample bag. It's called something in Swedish that I cannot pronounce. But it's a Lucky Charms bag basically, and it's just a mystery sample bag of 200 grams of yarn. And in the past they were doing really random samples and color shift between one colorway and another, and then they started doing more like, how would you say, sampling of the current collection that was available. So there was one time when I bought a mystery bag, Lucky Charm, and I got only colorways I had already bought. It was exactly the same in the bag than what I had bought in the current collection, so that was a bummer. Yeah, so I figured they had done a transition in what they do in those bags in that way. So for the current June collection, it was a lot of blue, minty greens, and just beautiful colors, and I couldn't make my mind. Yeah, I just loved all of them, but I didn't need any huge amount of them because basically what I wanted was just seeing the colors and having a little bit of them, like sample bits, and I didn't want to have like 500 gram plates of all of them, so I figured it would be the perfect time to buy a Lucky Charm bag, and I got almost nothing from the current collection. So I can show you what I got in this bag. So the collection looked like this, so it was a lot of, as I mentioned, blue, mint and beautiful cool tones, and it would have been perfect to put in the blanket. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do in the middle hexie yet. I was contemplating maybe a white with a light blue going into the grey and then darker black brown, but I'm not sure, so I thought that if I could get my hands on a sample of the mint or the blue, it would be perfect in the middle of the blanket, but I didn't. So what I got, the only colorway from the collection that I got is this one, which is my favorite, so it's a good thing, but it's an absolutely beautiful like storm blue, teal, variegated with blacks and grey. It's beautiful. And it's funny because ever since I became a patron from Honor Air, which was I think in 2022, it was in May, and the last collection before I got in was the collection where there was my perfect color ever. Like the favorite color they have ever done was in the collection just before I got it, so I couldn't get my hands on it, and I've been waiting for them to drop a similar color ever since, and it's there, and I didn't even buy a sweater quantity of it because I have too much. I have too much Nutiden yarn in my stash. I have more than I can knit in the foreseeable future, I mean in less than a year basically, and I just want to use it up, and if it came back this time, it's gonna come back another time, I guess. But I'm happy that the only colorway from the collection I really wanted is the one I got in the bag. And I actually got it 3 times, but not really, because I got color changes that have it inside, but 2 very small bits, and combined with like a golden brown thing, which looks really good with it, but I don't like brown tones, so I'm not really convinced about this combination, but it's beautiful, but not for me. Oh, hey. It's very similar. Anyway, so I got those. I don't know what this color is. I think it's maybe from a... no idea. And I also got those two, which I think are similar colorways. But it's more obvious in this one that it's... I think it's Leela. It's like a white cream base with some rosy magenta speckles with very, very thin green speckles. It's super difficult to tell, but yeah, in real life I can see them, but in camera I think not at all. Yeah, it's really beautiful, but again, absolutely not my thing. And this one looks very similar, but I'm not sure it's the same because it looks a little bit darker, this guy. But at the same time it's a color change, so maybe it's just there's a little bit of pink left on the outside. The color change is not totally finished. So I have two coordinating, and in the middle it's the dustiest pink. It looks grey, but it's like a purpley, pinkish purple, very, very dusty shade of that. It's absolutely not showing on the camera. And I think the last one is very similar, the inside colorway is very similar to this one, but it's just a darker version. So I'm guessing they mixed a little bit more grey in it, I don't know. And the outside is brown. Very, very similar to my hair color, actually, which is funny because when I took it out of the bag I was like, that's my hair? Did they make yarn with my hair? It's kind of funny, I think. Yeah, and again, I don't like brown, so it's beautiful. It has really gold and orangey shade into it. Beautiful, but I don't want to wear it. So I'm a little bit disappointed, but it's okay, because my plan, anyway, I knew I would probably get colors I didn't like, but my plan for all my other Nutiden leftovers or just colorways, I haven't found anything to knit with yet, or I received them and it was not what I expected. I want to do another blanket, which is a garter blanket, and I'm just going to use everything into it. And I don't care if the stripes, if the color stripes are different width or anything. I just want to put everything in there, so I can basically have any colorway. It will fit into the blanket anyway, so I'm not really worried. And it's actually nice that I get the large selection of colors, because the blanket will look nice. I think I inhaled some fiber. I almost died, but I'm fine now. Yeah, anyway, so the garter blanket is coming probably this winter, once I'm done with this gigantic one and that I find courage again to knit another blanket. So yeah, that's it for the knitting today. This video is super long and I hope you're not bored yet. I just wanted to add one last thing, which is a podcast recommendation, which I don't usually do because I mainly watch big channels, and I'm pretty sure all of you already watch everything I'm watching. That's mainly because I enjoy watching people that are very experienced and that I can learn stuff from. They are either using yarns that I don't usually have access to, or just knowledgeable in general, and that's what I enjoy, and usually those people are the ones that have the bigger channels. However, there is one person, I mean not just one, but the one I'm thinking about right now, that's actually less experienced than me, because she started knitting after me, and I started a little bit before the pandemic. And I hope this doesn't sound in a bad way, it's not a critique or anything. She's definitely less technically knowledgeable than me, I would say, but what I absolutely love about her is that she's just fearless. She will just try everything out, and I love this attitude. And yeah, she's a little bit different than any other podcasters I watch, and I just wanted to do a shout out because She has so little following on YouTube. I don't have a lot of following either, but still a bit more than her, so I just wanted to help her out because I really like what she does. And her name is... I've been talking about her for so long without even saying the name. Her name is Kelsey, and she has the podcast it's hard to say. Garden Variety Knits. And yeah, I just love what she does. She also lives in Switzerland, which is pretty unexpected. Not a lot of people live in Switzerland. And yeah, I just like that she's doing different projects than the main crowd of knitters, and she's doesn't afraid of trying out new things or stuff that she hasn't seen anybody else do. And I just love, as I mentioned, I love the way she uses knitting to do the things she needs, even if it sounds weird. And yeah, she's not afraid to fail, and she will just start over. And if something doesn't turn out the way she expected it to, she will just learn from the experience and just start over. And I just like it. I just love seeing it. And yeah, just wanted to do a little shout out for her. If you're looking for new content, quality content, you can go and watch her podcast. It's really nice. So for my life, as I mentioned, I didn't have the time to knit a lot, which means, as I mentioned, I didn't have the time to do anything else really. I was just working on the skirt, so I couldn't really climb a lot. Since the test call is done and the test knit has started, I managed to go climb yesterday outside, and also it wasn't raining for once, so I took advantage of that. And yeah, I wasn't really feeling super confident because, as I mentioned, I haven't been climbing much, so I could definitely tell there was a drop in my usual level. So I was a little bit like not sure what was going to happen, and we went on a crag where there are no easy roads basically. I think the easiest is a 6C, no, 6C plus even. And I know some people are climbing, so you know what I'm talking about, but for the others, climbing is graded and you don't really need to know what difficulty the grade refers to. Just know it was like mid-range, and it was not the easiest thing to climb in this particular place when I was in a low confidence mood, basically. But something happened and I flashed the 6C plus route during the warm-up, so I wasn't even warm and I just went through it. It was pretty nice for my self-confidence. And yeah, I think a friend of mine took some pictures, and as you can tell, it's a very vertical wall with a very small holes, and it was great. I really loved it. And then after that I tried 7A plus, which was as hard as a 7A plus was expected to be. And yeah, it was a good fight. I didn't finish it, but I think next time I go back it should be done. And yeah, it was nice to finally have the time to climb again. And yeah, I think that's it. That's about everything that happened. Other than that, I just worked on the skirt and that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you here for today. This episode is long enough. Thank you so much for watching until here, and even if you only watch 5 minutes, I mean, you're not seeing this in this case, but yeah. Thank you so much for your support, and also a huge thank you to everyone on Instagram, the new people that are that found me out. It just makes me so happy to have so many people coming in to follow my little adventures of the knitting world. So yeah, I just don't want to sound like a broken record because I basically say this at the end of every episode, but thank you so much for your support. It really warms my heart. I'm always happy to read your comments, especially in the last episode, because there were so many funny comments of people trying to guess what my job was. So thank you. And yeah, if you are the winner of the giveaway, please contact me via email, as I said, and you can of course subscribe to this channel if you like this content. I would love to see you back again, and give me a like, a comment and everything. And I'll stop here. Thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next one.